Hello. In this example, we have that the function f is represented by the graph shown below, and we want to draw the graph of g, but g is defined as f of 1/3 x. So we're performing a horizontal dilation because we're multiplying, so this is not going to result in sliding things up left and right, but instead making this graph thinner or wider, again in a horizontal fashion because we are affecting again the x coordinates. So let's first identify what the current coordinates are to this graph of f. So we have the x and y, f of x values. So this point here is -3, -7. This one right here is at -2, 5, and the last point that we have here is -1 and -4. Okay. Now, before we actually do what the correct arithmetic is here, because this is a polygon, make sure that you never start in the middle. You want to start again with the edges first, whether it's the left edge or the right edge, so you could again connect these points in that sequence. Never start in the middle because then you'll have to double up, go down and then go back up. So you don't want to do that. Okay. All right, so now let's go to this. What does this mean right here? How is this going to affect the graph? Well, this right here, because we're performing an operation to the x, is not going to actually multiply by 1/3. If we had the 1/3 on the outside and had 1/3 of f of x, that would simply mean to get all of these f of x values and multiply them by 1/3. But because we're changing the input value, it's going to result in the opposite. So our x values are not, in fact, multiplied by 1/3. Our x values are actually divided by 1/3. So let's perform that operation. So to divide all of these values by 1/3, you'll get the following. And again, you can just use Desmos to divide these values if you're not that comfortable with dividing by a fraction. But ultimately, dividing by this fraction of 1/3 is ultimately the equivalency of multiplying by 3. But again, if you don't know that, you can just type it into the calculator. So you just get -3 and divide it by 1/3. And if you're using decimal, that's going to look kind of weird because you'll write -3, and when you click the division symbol, it's going to write it as a fraction. So in the denominator, you need to make sure that you use parentheses to put 1/3, where you get this symbol by using the division key. So it should look like this. So 3 divided by, like I told you, you get that division symbol, and then 1/3. Okay, and your answer is 9. So this number right here is going to be 9. Then -6 divided by 1/3. I'm sorry, -2. -2 divided by 1/3 is -6. And then finally, -1 divided by 1/3 is -3. The y values are not being affected here because we're not doing any outside operation. So the f of x values stay the exact same. So they're going to be -7, +5, and -4. So let's plot them. Because I put these again in order, when I plot them, the software will automatically connect this first point here, -9. Sorry, I forgot the negative sign here. -9, -7 will automatically connect with the second point, which is -6, +5. So these 2 points will automatically connect. And then when I plot the third point, -3, -4, that will automatically connect. So there is your graph for G.